This documentary recounts the harrowing 54-hour hijacking of Air France Flight 8969 in December 1994, which began in Algiers and ended in a dramatic rescue in Marseille, France. The hijacking began when four armed extremists belonging to an Islamic fundamentalist group seized the Airbus A300 on Christmas Eve 1994, taking 173 passengers and crew hostage.
The standoff in Algiers. A tense 39-hour standoff ensued. The hijackers executed 3 passengers to pressure the Algerian government. Negotiations were complex due to the refusal of the Algerian government to allow the plane to depart and the move to Marseille. After intense pressure, the plane was allowed to depart for France. The French government, having received intelligence that the plane was intended to be used as a flying bomb over Paris, diverted the aircraft to Marseille.
The nightmare aboard Air France Flight 8969 became worse with every passing hour. Inside the hijacked Airbus A300, fear spread like poison through the cabin. Mothers held their children tightly. The hijackers barked orders and threats, demanding compliance while pacing menacingly through the narrow aisle. Passengers remained frozen in their seats, the air thick with unspoken terror as the crisis deepened.
One wrong move could kill everyone on board.
Among the passengers was a young flight attendant named Claire Moreau, only 27 years old. Though terrified, she tried her best to calm frightened passengers. But inside, Claire herself was shaking with fear. Outside the plane, Algerian and French authorities argued desperately about how to handle the information.
Charges were not simply women or for political attention.
They planned to crash the plane into Eiffel in Paris. If successful, thousands could die.
This is your last chance. Let the plane leave now.
Please, no, I have a family.
Algeria, let us go or he dies.
Sir, you failed.
Finally, after intense pressure, the aircraft was allowed to fly to Marseille, France. But French authority enfiplé de Marseille when this French force phased the air French souveraineté surrounded in nearby. Algiers member stated nearby. The hijackers, fueled by desperation and rage, escalated their threats inside the cabin. Sons held hands tightly and prayed together for survival.
Flight attendant Claire covered the eyes of the little girl beside her so she would not see the horror. At that moment, many passengers believed they would never see their families again.
Meanwhile in France, Major Denis Favier and the elite GN Special Forces unit prepared for what would become one of the most dangerous rescue missions in history. The soldiers trained non-stop for hours inside a replica of the Airbus A300. Every second mattered. They studied the aircraft layout repeatedly, memorizing every door, seat row, and possible terrorist position. Major Favier of the mission, he looked Davidson firm and said firmly, "When we enter plane, innocent lives depend on us."
Push forward. Protect the passengers. The battle lasted only minutes.
But to the terrified hostages, it felt like forever.
And finally, silence.
The terrorists were dead. The passengers were...
One by one, survivors stumbled out of the aircraft, crying, bleeding, and embracing rescuers.